Hello friends, welcome to my channel IT Career. Today we are going to discuss about architecture of SAP, and it is very important for any technology in the world to understand better. You should learn the architecture. If you don't know the architecture, you are lost. Really. So as for SAP also, we have to know what is the architecture, how it works. And now from the front end level, as end user, people may not know what is behind that giant software, the SAP, right? But it's a huge programs running behind the scene, and there are so many other things, and those are the things we are going to discuss today. Okay, so stay with us in this lecture where we will be discussing about SAP Architecture Fundamentals. You can see in my screen, and in the SAP Architecture Fundamentals today, out of the 5 options or points, the first 3 we are going to discuss in this part 1. The next 2, because it is a huge one, okay, it would be a lengthy one. I cannot cover everything in one video. So ABAP and Java runtimes, client-server architecture, and concept of SAP instances we are going to discuss today. And the rest of the other 2 we will be discussing in the next lecture. So today, I think it is 4th lecture, lecture 4. Okay, so that is SAP Architecture Fundamental, and first thing is ABAP and Java runtimes. So first of all, what is ABAP? Okay, ABAP is a as I mentioned in my previous video, ABAP and Java both are language, right? So ABAP is a language which stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. Okay, you see that in my screen, it stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. So now I understand what is ABAP. Now we understand ABAP is a program. Okay, so now what is runtime? So runtime is nothing but, in the context of computer programming, is the environment in which a program or application is executed. Okay, so like we have the application, ABAP application, right? Once you run your application in ABAP language, or it can be anything. If it's a .NET language, that .NET language need a runtime platform, right? So the the binaries behind the scene, so that it will be executed, right? So same way for ABAP also, it's need a runtime behind the scene, okay, where the program and application will be executed. It refers to the combination of software and hardware components that are necessary for the program to run, right? So whenever you install any software, you need some computation, right? Compute resources like memory, you need hard disk, you need CPU, right? So likewise you need for ABAP also. The runtime provides the program which is necessary, so like now memory, processing power, as well as the services it needs to interact with the operating system and other programs. All right, so the binaries, so every binary is libraries, you can say, those are runtimes where your program or application will be executed. All right, so same way Java also. Okay, so Java also, it is the same way. SAP Java, a runtime environment, is used to execute Java application within SAP ecosystem. All right, so similar way, these are 2 different things. Okay, Java and ABAP, 2 different languages, do 2 different kind of system, but both are SAP. Most of the SAP system initially designed in ABAP language. Later Java concept came, and why it came, there is a reason. Because of the internet boom into 1990s. Okay, because the integration, we have discussed about it in our earlier videos. If you haven't seen my earlier video, just go and look into it. Lecture 1 or 2, 3, I don't know which one, but somewhere it is there. So let me read the actual the PowerPoint I have prepared for you. So I have to read those. The basic idea I have given you, by the way. So SAP system provides the basic building application to implement the business process. All right, SAP application are not dependent on any operating system and database to a great extent. All right, we mentioned in my previous video, SAP SAP system is designed for different kind of operating system and combination of the database. So suppose if you choose Linux and Oracle, you have a set, I mean that combination setup, I mean software, DVDs, right? Software. If you have Windows and HANA database, you'll get different kind of. So similarly, there are several other databases and operating system. Application can be built either in ABAP or Java language. We have discussed already. ABAP stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. Most application in SAP is written in ABAP. All right, we have already discussed. To run ABAP programs, the NetWeaver application server provides a ABAP runtime environment. Okay, so NetWeaver, definitely I have mentioned in my previous video, right, that underlying architecture, underlying infrastructure, not infrastructure, underlying underlying platform. Sorry, I was missing the word. The platform was NetWeaver, right? So for ABAP also, NetWeaver application provides that to extend SAP application so that they become highly interoperable with external and internal web-based application. So what is interoperable is nothing but interact with the outside its own system. So with external and internet-based applications, the Java runtime was introduced to SAP environment, NetWeaver environment. So Java introduced for to interaction, for the internet and all, right? We discussed so that it can interact, it can integrate with the outer world. Java runtime is based on J2E standard. Okay, so J2E is for Java runtime. Important note is ABAP and Java runtimes are also called ABAP and Java engine. All right, they are also called. If someone is saying ABAP engine, you can say that it's a Java runtime. Okay, so it's the same thing, different names. Okay, now client-server architecture. Client-server architecture, if you want to know more about it, load balancing and everything, I have a detailed lecture I have created, I think, in my Google Cloud Associate Cloud Engineer program, my series I have in my YouTube channel. You can go to that playlist, and I think first video or second video, I think client-server architecture, that is not, SAP related, but it is a very generic term, client server architecture, how the client and server works. Very detailed level video is there. You go ahead and see, and you'll get an idea of what is client server architecture. So client is a device on the network which transmit request for data processing. The client in the SAP architecture can be either SAP GUI running on Windows, SAP GUI for Java, or other operating system or web GUI for HTML. So let's do one thing today. We're talking about a lot of SAP GUI and all, right, and a little bit of architecture. Let me show you today how the SAP application server, how the SAP GUI looks like and everything. Let's do today, okay, in today's lecture. So that you'll get an idea what I am talking about. Only going through the theories may bore you, but if I show you in parallel a little bit of, definitely this entire playlist or the course is a practical only, okay, more practical, but as I mentioned, initial videos will be little theoretical. You need to understand the architecture, but if with the architecture, if I show you in the system, it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so let me complete this slide and then I'll go back to the system. The server is the NetWeaver application which processes the client request in the ABAP and Java engine. Okay, the communication happens over dedicated network infrastructure, LAN, or through wireless LAN. Okay, and SAP is okay. So let me tell you. So this is now this first block, browser, web GUI and SAP GUI. This is nothing but a client. Okay, it is a user. Okay, each user is accessing the application using a client. It may be your browser, it can be your SAP GUI, and application is nothing but a network application where application server is there, and you access this over the internet, or maybe the LAN or wireless LAN. Okay, you access the application. So the client device, what it does, you request something, client is requesting something, and application is processing the client request. Okay, whatever you ask for, okay, give me this, give me the data of last 2 years, 2 years profit from the company. So you request something, it will process and it will fetch that data from the database, because it does not contain data, because it is an application layer, it is a processing layer. So it will go to the database, look for the data, it will bring the data, and it will send back the data to your front end. Okay, and all the communication is happening over internet or LAN or WLAN. Okay, wireless LAN, and communication between these two are LAN. Okay, local area network is the suggestion. So now you can see here again apps and DB is there, and here application, and here DB. What does it mean? So this means that whenever the application and database are in one hardware, okay, one server, one host, that time it is called two-tier architecture. It is not three-tier architecture. Okay, why it is two-tier? Not because of application and 1 and 2, not this one, because 1 this and 2 this. Okay, that's why it is two-tier architecture, and this is called three-tier architecture. 1 application, 2 and 1 means your front end, your application, 2 and database, 3. Okay, this is three-tier, or you can say multi-tier. Okay, so that's about client server architecture. Next is a concept of SAP Instance. Now what is SAP Instance and all? Let me read it after some time. Now what I'll do, I'll go ahead and start my SAP system. So let me show you how I built my SAP. I'm in the future, few lecture after this, I'll be showing you the detailed level of installation of SAP. Okay, the one I just now few days back I installed. So let me start my server in Google Cloud. I've placed the server in Google Cloud. So this is my server, host name is SAP NetWeaver, and it is in the US Central Zone, and I'm going to start it. It is a Windows server, and it will take 30 seconds to 1 minute to start it. However, I'll give at least 1 minute so that all the other things into the server will start. So I'll pause the video for some time until this comes back. So it is came back. Before I pressed pausing the video, it came back. So what I'll do now, I'll log into. I'll wait for another 10 seconds. So how to create this server, a virtual machine? This is a virtual machine in the Google Cloud and all. Everything is there, guys. It is a combo package for you where you can learn the Google Cloud, the cloud concept, and plus the SAP. Okay, in our time it was not there. So go ahead and look into my all Google Cloud videos. All the clouds are same. Either it is Google Cloud, it is Amazon or Azure. Everything is same. Just the terms are different. Okay, and few services or few applications. They are maybe services may be different, but most of the 90% things are same. Okay, a virtual machine, like in Azure also they call it virtual machines. In AWS it is little different. It doesn't call virtual machine. They call it at EC2 instances. Okay, EC2. Anyway, that's not our topic. So see, instance started. Now what I'll do, I'll click on RDP and I'll click on download RDP. It will download the file, and then I'll click on the file, connect, then more choices. I have my ID. What are these IDs now? I'll tell you. TC-ADM is my username. Okay, yes, Okay, here you go. This is my server. Okay. So in the server, now I am in the server, right? So in that you see SAP Management Console, SAP GUI. This is called SAP Login. This is called SAP GUI. If I double click on it, and it will be installed. It will be installed in your end users system. It can be a desktop, it can be laptop, right? And where they can access the SAP system. So once you have opened it, you'll see the server. So the server, this is the server. Okay, I created. So how you create? I mean, create the server here, connection. So you click on the connection and then you give the information like next, and then put the description. What is the server about? System ID. What is this? I'm going to tell you. In the next slide. And then instance number, there is instance number. Okay, everything I'll show you. An application server, like our application server name is SAP NetWeaver, means the name of the host name of the server. Okay, so now, okay, so this is called SAP GUI. Okay, so if I double click on it, if you have to double click to access the server, but you will see that connection diffused because the server is down. So, and I'll open the SAP Management Console, and don't worry about these things. Okay, I'm not supposed to show you all these things right now. Okay, there is a separate lesson for these, how to start, how to stop and all in the future, but I'm just I'm doing it to just show you how the SAP looks like. Okay, so my SAP is already actually down. I'll start it. This is ASCS server. Okay, now I'll start. ASCS start first. It doesn't have any dependency with the database, so you see the process. Okay, message server, NQ server, what everything we will learn it. Okay, don't worry about it. So now I'll start the database. Okay, connect sys sysdba. All right, see there, connected to an ideal instance. So this is how you start Oracle and all. I'll teach you Oracle also, don't worry. Startup is the command to start Oracle. Okay, it will take few seconds or minute, and we'll come back. Okay, the Oracle is started. You see that database mounted, database opened. Now I can start my primary application server. So I'll right click on that and start, and it will take few seconds to start up, or a minute. All right, you see that SAP primary application server is up and running. Okay, and you see everything is green. So I'm going to discuss everything about it. Don't worry about anything whatever I'm showing you here. Okay, I just wanted to show you that this SAP GUI is your front end, which is I have shown you in my PowerPoint. Where it is? Here it is. So this is SAP GUI. This is your presentation. Okay, presentation layer, also called presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. Okay, so the server is listed. I think area NetWeaver server and system identification ITC, SID is ITC, and instance number 00. So if I double click on it, it will take me to the application server. Okay, so here is the application server. There is a client, and what is client I'll tell you, but for now I'll put username and password. Okay, and there is a language, English language. If you want, by default whenever you install SAP system, it will come with English and German, but there is a opportunity to, if you want to install your own language, like not every language in the world, but there are certain languages SAP provides, so you can install that too. So enter, and it will okay, so 100 is not available, definitely 100 is not available. So what I'll do, I did not create 100 client, so 000 client I'll log in right now with DDIC user and password, and it will take you to the SAP system. All right, so this is the SAP system login, and you see the main user there. I'm going to discuss about these things in very detailed level. What are these and all, every detailed level. And but I just wanted to show you, how the SAP presentation layer or the client, and this one, GUI, and what is the application. So this is the GUI, this is the front end, and you requested something, you request something, it will go to the, using the client from the GUI to the application server, and it will process. Okay, so you, right now I'm in the server, but this will be accessing from any laptop or your desktop over the internet, or VPN connection you can access. All right, so like SM51, that is the transaction. I'm just posting, and I want to see how many instances are there. I install only one instance, it will show me. And don't worry about these things, I'm going to show a very detailed level. So NetWeaver, this one application. So let me go back to my PowerPoint slide, and I think you understand this slide now, right? So client is the device network which transmits requests from the data processing, for data processing, and the client in the SAP Architecture can be either SAP GUI. So SAP GUI is a client running on Windows. The one I showed you, that is SAP GUI for Windows, because it's installed in Windows, and SAP GUI for Java for other OS, like maybe Mac computers, that can be separate GUI, or a SAP GUI for HTML is another type of. The server is a network application server, which I shown you just now. So it can be ABAP or Java engine. Okay, and the communication happens over the LAN. So let me go to the next slide. Okay, concept of SAP Instance. An SAP Instant is a basic building block of an SAP system. So it's a very basic building block. So what is instance? Okay, let me now go to the drawing. Today we didn't do anything, right? So any drawing. So let me draw it. So what is instance? As I mentioned, you have a front end which is SAP GUI, and then you have application, okay, and then you have all right. So this connection like this, and then this request goes there and come back. So now this is also called application instance. Okay, and this is called database instance. Okay, so there are multiple instances in a SAP system, right? So I mean, that's what it is saying, basic building block. So you can be having multiple SAP application. Okay, this is application 1, this is app 2, app 3. Okay, why this? So that you have more load. I mean, if you have more load of the request and user request, so that it can load balance between the server, and it can take the load. If you have only one server, and if you have suppose 10,000 customers, okay, accessing it, and this one server may not be enough, right? It can be very highly configured, but at some point of time it may give up, right? So in that case, you have multiple application server, and so that it can load balance. So you use it a load balancer. Okay, you have load balance. Okay, so and this is okay in SAP, and in SAP term, the main instance is called PaaS. PaaS is nothing but primary application server. Okay, the older name of PaaS was CI. CI is central instance. Okay, the older name. SAP changed the name later, and they made it PaaS. Now if it is a PaaS, the second application, there should be a name, right? So it is an additional, right? Additional application. So that's why the name is very simple. AAS. is nothing but is additional application server. Okay, same way this is also called additional application server. Sorry. Okay, so these are different instance. So this is also called an instance. Okay, this is an instance, application instance. This is also instance. Okay, so now you understand, right, why it is called SAP Instant. Is a basic building of a SAP system, and SAP system can comprise of one or more SAP instances, right? So you have one or more instances, right? It is an administrative unit that combines multiple components to provide one or more services. Okay, and SAP system comprise of two parts: application instance and database instance. As I mentioned, application instance like SAP application instance and database instance. Okay. This is not an instance. Okay, this is not an instance. Okay, not instance. This is an application, and this is a presentation layer. It is called okay. All right. When an application instance, when the application and the database instance reside in the same hardware, it is known as single instance. So let me go a little down, and same instance, same thing. I'll just write it back. So you have a hardware, right? Same host. The host is, suppose, SAP NetWeaver host name. Okay, so here you have, let me take different colors so that we'll understand, right? And then I like orange color here. Here we have pass. Okay, and we also have database in the same host, DB. Then this is called single instance, right? Single instance. Now what is the second? When the application instance and database instance do not share the same hardware resources, then instance known as distributed instance. So this is the above one. This is called distributed instance. So let me write it in a different color. Shall I take blue or green? And this is called distributed instance. Why this? Because it is distributed here and here, two places, distributed. Very simple concept. And here it is single. Everything is in single, right? Here you have in this hardware, and database is in different hardware, or maybe it can be in another one hardware. This is in another hardware. This is also possible. Okay, you choose what you need. Your application server can be in different. There is another concept of ASCS. I'll come back. ASCS server. I'll come back little later in this video, gradually, one by one. Okay. SAP instance is uniquely identified as a system ID, known as SID of an instance number and an instance number. So every SAP system has an SID. Okay, so SID is very, very important. It is called system ID. Okay, and system ID always 3 alpha numeric. Okay, like as for example, the my instance is ITC. Okay, the my one, if you notice, if I go, you see that ITC is my instance, and you can see here also. So if you see, the SID is ITC. Okay, and there is something called instance number. Every instance number, and another is called instance number. It is a 2-digit number. All right. So why instance number is needed? So to identify. Suppose, okay, let me give an example. So what color shall I take? This is a good color, the rainbow. All right. So now you have this SAP system. All right. So now you want to give no, this color is not good. Let me take a lighter color, maybe. Okay. So now as for example, I have given the name of the this application is, this system is ITC. Okay, this is SID equal to SEC. So ITC means this application is all ITC, and database is also having a DB SID. Remember, DB SID, and DB SID in the SAP world, whenever database is connected to the application, it should be the same SID. Okay, 3 character, 3 alphanumeric. Okay, so ITC, by ITC you will understand that, okay, I am talking about this system. Now what is instance number? I mentioned 2 digits, so that you can give a number. So suppose you are giving 00 to this application, this application, primary application server, to this AS. There are multiple AS, right? How you identify this AS? Okay, one is using the host name, another using the instance number. Okay, host name will be different, right? Because if it is in different host, then it will be a different host number. But if it is in the same host, like this, all 3 application, then how you identify? By the instance number you identify, right? So in my case, in the above example, the system SID is ITC, system number is I can put for pass equal to 00, AAS, for one AS I put like this 01, AAS is 02. So like this we put, right? We choose, and we choose this thing during installation. Okay, right? All right, let me go back to the PowerPoint slide. Okay, so we have done this. Each SAP instance can be distributed over multiple hardware units, and each unit can be separated in physical machine or logical physical partition in the same machine. So as I mentioned, this can be in different hardware. Okay, this is in different hardware, this is in different hardware, or this one, or it can be logically, like virtual machines, right? Virtual machines, virtually in the same hardware, we virtually separated the instances. Okay, so that is what it is talking about. The database instance ID, also called DBS ID, is normally the same as SAP Instance ID, as I mentioned before, or SID. The SID is always 3 characters long, can contain alphanumericals, but it must start with an alphabet. Remember, okay? The instance number is always 2-digit number and can be combination of the digit between 0 to 9. Very easily understanding, right? So I already discussed about it. Next thing is, SAP application instance can be broken down into following types. So application instance, the application instance, right? So we are talking now about only application instance in this slide, means we're talking about this only. Okay, so it can be divided into these parts. One is SAP ABAP, SAP Central Service Instance, which is called ASCS. I just told you, right? Patience. So I just told you, right? We are going to discuss about ASCS as separate. So this is another server. This is another server of SAP. One we just talked APAS, S, and another is ASCS. So now what is this ASCS? What does it do? So ASCS, I'm including here ASCS. You can give it another number like 03, whatever, right? So ASCS primary application server and additional application server, and additional application server can be multiple, right? How many you want. So now let me show you. This is for these three are for ABAP application server, and what it contains, what process it contains. ABAP central service instant, by the name you can identify this is central service. So the message server and enqueue server. So what is message server? Message server is nothing but your message server where you distribute the load. Okay, so if you want to read the definition, message server, it handles the communication between distributed dispatcher in the ABAP system. This process is configured only once in each SAP system. It is a vital services in a SAP startup. So message server is nothing but it will distribute. I am going to discuss more about it in detail level in the future lecture, because it is very important to understand what is this message server is. Okay, and enqueue server is nothing but actually it is locks. It handles the lock mechanism. So lock table mechanism in the system managed by enqueue server component. So what is this? Everything I am going to discuss in the future lecture, maybe next lecture, very detailed level. Now we are going to going over the little high level. And in the PaaS server, what we have ABAP dispatcher, gateway, ICM, and work processes. Okay, and we'll have next lecture on the work processes and a web dispatcher, everything very detailed level. Okay, and same way, whatever the primary application server has, additional application server AS also has the same processes. Okay, and for the Java application server, same thing. It also has a PaaS as. However, the name of the ASCS, instead of ASCS, it is SCS. Okay, because it is ABAP server, that's why they put an additional A before SCS. So it is called SAP Central Services. All right, and it contains message server and queue server. Okay, so I'm going to the next slide. Let's see what we have. Yeah, so distributed SAP instances now. So this is pretty simple. I already discussed in my whiteboard. Single instance where the blue box is your host, one host, physical hardware. Okay, and in the blue box you have application server, also you have database instance. So it is called single instance, right? We already mentioned about here single instance, everything in the same box. Distributed instances in the blue, under the blue box you see that application and database are in different boxes, so it is called distributed instances. And these are also distributed instances with multiple additional application servers. So here also database is in different and application server is in one host, or it can be in different hosts also. Okay, but here in the example it is showing that all the applications are installed in one box, and but virtually they are separated. All right, so with that said, I'm done for this day. I'm done for the day, and next lecture will be on ABAP server, application server, ABAP processes. What are the processes like dialog work process, dispatcher, and enqueue work process, and the message server we talked, right? Message server gateway, very detailed level, because today it is not possible. It is already 40 minutes of the this video. It is not possible to discuss everything. It will be, bigger video it will be. So I don't want to continue more. If you have any doubt, you can write it back to me in the comment section. And let me see if I missed anything. So as a glance, I'll show you the SAP server I installed. It is a SAP NetWeaver 7.0, and let me show you what I added into the SAP GUI logon pad. This is called SAP GUI logon pad. So here you configure the server so that you can access the server. So you put a description of the server, and you give the 3-digit alphanumerical system ID, which is ITC in my case, and you put a system number, whatever number you give, and also the application server's host name you have to put. Okay, so my host name is SAP NetWeaver, right? So you put it, and then you will be able to access the server using the SAP logon pad. So this is SAP logon pad. Okay, this is nothing but a tool you can install in your desktop. Generally, Basis Consultant install it in every desktop and laptop, or it can be distributed by your IT division, IT services division, right? So Yeah, we can have a detailed lecture on SAP. I mean, logon pad also. I mean, there's few files and all how to configure and everything install. I'll show you. All right. So with that said, I am done for the day. This lecture. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe it and share the channel with your friends. And if you like the video, please like it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.